in terms of trying to discourage people, and one of the questions was, is it good to discourage people from signing things? I've stayed away from that my whole life. I do take a stand, and I've written letters to the editor saying don't sign such and such an initiative. But when you're actually out there, when people are trying to gather signatures, it really, we just saw this in Berkeley recently when they were doing the referendum on the downtown, and it's so easy for that to get into a very negative tone, and you may mean well, but because you're standing right next to the person and they say something that's a lie, you get frustrated, and so you get angry, and, so I guess for me, the negativity of being right next to somebody and trying to get signatures and trying to stop, it escalates too much, too often into, bad words and sometimes altercations. So, I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but I think, if somebody were doing something like that, they need to really be careful, because your whole campaign can get a really bad reputation because one or two of the people out there, trying to stop people from, blockades, as they call them, trying to block somebody from signing, they do something stupid and it gets caught on camera, and your whole campaign is embarrassed that this one stupid person got really mad because somebody was lying or, or whatever. And, it just, to me, it's just so much of a risk of negativity. And it also, for me personally, it just doesn't suit my personal philosophy and style. But as a campaign tactic, I doubt it. I think it's more often counterproductive.
So, in the interest of finding out where the public really stands on this question and potentially arming ourselves with information to dissuade PG&E from moving forward, is there talk about doing a poll to pose these questions and related questions?
Well, I think, I'm sure PG&E has already done a poll.
Not on our side.
And in running a statewide initiative, you virtually need to have a poll. I'm sort of, as a politician, I don't really vote based on what polls say. I really couldn't care less what a poll says. But in running a statewide initiative, if you want to have a chance to defeat something, you're not actually running your poll necessarily in order to find out, are people for or against something. The poll is more to test, there's like 3 or 4 different arguments that you might use against it.
Right.
And so the poll is, yes, you sort of want to know where the general sentiment is, but what you want to know more is what theme, what slogans are going to work to take undecided voters and turn them to your side, or to take sort of leaning against you voters and neutralize them. That's basically what. And so, whenever I've been involved in state campaigns, we've always had polls, and they're extremely helpful if they're done by people who know what they're doing. And so, I think we certainly want to have such polls, and we need them.
Just a couple of perspectives that might help out. There's been a track record of PG&E fighting, local power stuff. In Prop H in San Francisco, they defeated that very handily. And if you saw any of the advertising that went on the TV about it, which was quite a bit, you had no idea what it was about. And it all showed people of color, in those commercials. And so they're very slick. PG&E has put a lot of money into buying off the minority community and other communities in a big way, and it's very consolidated around, being opposed to local control of electrical power. And what we heard at the meeting the other day was that they probably have a war chest of about $30 million that they're willing to put into this. They've fought a number of campaigns, and each one of them has cost about $10 million apiece, and they've won them all. But they don't want to do this for the next how many years, so they figure they can put up a lot of money now and win this whole thing. So, that's just, I think it's a big mistake to underestimate PG&E in any way, given the fact that they've sprinkled a lot of money around in a lot of places and bought a lot of communities. On the other hand, I think another way to look at this is that, and of course if they win, it's a disaster for renewable energy in the state. because, you know, they're way behind the percentage of renewable power they're supposed to have. And they're gonna be way behind it. They're planning a lot of gas-fired power plants. They're even supporting liquid natural gas coming in from Oregon through a new port there. So, I mean, they have a plan, they have an economic plan for which, you know, they want to be able to control the destiny of electric power distribution for quite a while. So they have a lot at stake in this. But we have a lot at stake in this too, because we have, you know, our future here. And in a way, what I want to say is that, you know, a defeat for us would be very disastrous. But a win for us, if we did it right, could be a tremendous victory. In other words, if around this we built a statewide coalition in favor of renewable energy in a way that hasn't been put on the table in the past as a way, and we built working relationships between all the environmental communities, between the environmental public utilities, between the cities that don't like this 2/3 vote and all this stuff. I mean, potentially there's a very, very powerful coalition that could be built that could basically take control of the electric power issue for the next future away from PG&E. So there's a tremendous hazard here, but there's a tremendous opportunity if we really work on this properly. So I just wanted to sort of put out that perspective around the stakes both ways.
They're sort of taking it to the people for us. You know, they're not going through the regulatory, trying to get the regulations on their side. They're saying, hey, this is something people should be thinking about. Yes, it is.
Yeah, one other thing I want to mention is this isn't just about community choice, as you know, Al is also implying it also involves public power, municipalities and other types of water districts that may want to get into power as well. From the standpoint of local energy activists and the Local Clean Energy Alliance as well, what are some of the things that we can do, you know, given our network and the energy that we can put on the ground here in the Bay Area to be really supportive of leading to some type of victory like Al is talking about?
Well, I'm guessing that they're going to spend over $100 million on this for this entire campaign. That would be my just guess between all the different companies that will support it. And you know, we'll probably be able to raise a couple of million. So we'll have, you know, maybe 2% of the amount of money that they have. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of TV advertisements. And those TV advertisements are going to say nothing about community choice. I mean, they're going to pick some advertising slogan and just, you know, hit you with it everywhere as you go. So, you know, we have to be equally savvy, you know, in terms of how we use what money we can raise to mobilize grassroots activist organizations and really empower them. I mean, those are some of the strongest ways to defeat bad ballot measures. Having a rally and using the media, free media is one of the most powerful tools of progressive groups and of any activist group. So we're never going to be able to afford to buy as many TV ads as them, but they're probably not going to be buying TV ads in the next 2 months. We could be getting free media by having events demanding that they debate us or demanding that they meet with us, and then embarrassing them, you know, for what they say if they meet with us or if we're not meeting with us. So we've got to get going early with free media that can help sort of set the tone and the image of this in the public's eye before this massive wave of, you know, money starts to get spent.